Hello everybody, welcome to another video in the Ideal Auto Factory. We discuss everything vinyl wrapping and RC drifting. Today, the Shibata GRK4 gets some new life. We got some new parts to install, and also we're going to install the old parts as well. So, keep God first. Let's get into this video. All right, so back here, the first plan of attack is to basically get this all back together back here. As you can see, there's a little dirt in there. We're gonna clean that stuff up. What I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse, and then I'll come in on the latter half of that and explain in detail what's really going on. So we are all cleaned up back here. Very much a better looking situation than what we had before. Is all the dirt cleaned up? Absolutely not. Maybe later on we'll get to do that, everyone. Maybe later on. Since it is all cleaned up, certain things I would like to check. You can't really hear this, hear a certain noise. So one of the first issues I wanted to address back here is the click-clack sound. And of course, I believe I found it in the old diff here, which is pretty much this setup here makes it has all this play in it. And that's no good. That's not going to work. The new parts that will replace those, this being a 14T bevel gear, and then also the holder for said bevel gear right here. And this should fix all of these problems here. Wait, I have found the problem. So you think that's up there? Listen. All right, now there's a little bit of oil in there. So far, the rear end has basically been cleaned and re-lubed, and there's no issues at all anymore. Took this axle out, got it to be pretty much making zero noise, cleaned everything out. There's nothing in here inside the diff case. This bearing feels fine. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little drop of oil. I'm gonna go ahead and change parts out. Let's do that over here on this part right there. Now, of course, I build this without remembering that this goes in there. So now I have to take this whole T part off and push that in first. So let's do that. Instead of forcing that, goes 2 screws right there. I'm going to take off, or loosen at least. Let's try this again. There we go. Nice. Flows almost all the way in. Now, sort of rotate that so it fits. There it is. There it is. Slides in. Better spot. Let's get it magnetized going. Let's put a magnet on it. You're gonna stay now. Yeah. All right, we're going in. Remove the magnet now. So that gear is in. The next step is to put an actual differential in there. Here's my differential. Now I need to make sure I put the right gear on it, because I think if you go higher than 12T, you're supposed to put a different ring gear on it or something. Let's see. See, 39T ring gear for 10, 11, 12. I have a 14, so that means, oh boy. Okay, it says 16 and 17. 16, 17, 18 get that one. And 10, 11, 12 get this one. With 14 being right there in the middle, I got a feeling I'm in the sweet spot for either one. So I'm going to just run it like this. Let's see what happens when we put it in there. And, oh, I don't even remember which way it goes. See, I should have remembered that. Because if I'm putting it in this way, That's pushing too tight there. I can feel it already. See, if you come over here, see that's already spinning. And it won't let me go all the way in. So I need to take some shims out of there on this side. And this thing's oily. Let me wipe this off. So there we have it there. I'm gonna take this one off of this side. Good old same method I used earlier. There we go. Pops right off. Let's take these shims out. And let's get that diff gear back. Put it back on top. That gives us a little more room to play with there. So now that diff wants to slide all the way in. If you look right there, there is some space to be had there. And now I'm going to put that shim on the other side. So let's go back out, take this out again, put the shim on this side. Go, another shim, put that back on. And now, let's see how much play we got. So you can see that gear in there moving. It moves, the other part moves. So there's almost no play, like no play at all. So I think I'm gonna be good there. Now comes another fun part, getting these diff axles to accept these axle cups here. Got a little play there. Should work out fine though. There's never really anything covering these up anyway. That one there. And then now let's slide it back in there. I guess the one tech talk of the day is this this whole shimming of the diff here. So depending on what size, what is it called? What size bevel gear you have inside of your diff there, the one on the inside one, the one that's connected to the spur, determines the thickness of your on the diff. So the bevel gear inside the transmission versus the bevel gear in the diff. And if you look, this one is flat there, and that one is convex. So that has like a curvature going outward, which means it gives you more spacing. So this diff, this ring gear flat would sit closer to this black wall right there, which would mean further away, and you would have to shim that way. Yeah. So you don't have to do all of that with this 14T, and then you get it right in the center. And that's where shimming is involved in getting it everything all nice and tight the way it's supposed to. Now, on the other side of that is, why do you want to have the right gear mesh in the first place? Well, if it's too little, think of this as the spur and the pinion. If it's too little, it'll just eat the teeth away. And once you get, you start going faster and forces are applied, you'll just grind these teeth away. And if it's too tight, meaning this diff gear is closest to that bevel gear back there, then you'll be too tight and the car would not want to move. It'll have a whole lot of resistance. This is kind of resistive, but nothing crazy. You would have a whole lot of resistance when it comes to making the car spin, and therefore have like a natural drag brake and a strain on your drivetrain. But you don't want either one. So that's why shimming your diff to your bevel gear is important. But the old diff was a ball diff. This is a gear diff. You can see way better suited there. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing. So now I'm going to put that gear cover back on, which is in here. But first I'm gonna clean it out. Take this ESC mount off and clean it out and get it back on there. All cleaned up. Couldn't really get that yellow off. Let's go ahead and close this bad boy up. I could put a little bit of grease on there, but do I have any? I don't even know. Before, oh, nope, can't close it up yet. Right there. I gotta take this shock tower off and put the low battery tray on here. I plan to take care of that in another video because this has been pretty much a good stopping point for me for tonight. And I think that's a good thing to practice. Just having a stopping point. That way you don't get too far into it and too invested. And then next thing you know, you're rushing and you don't have a good end result to what you just did. The cleaning did take a while. It took me about 30 minutes to clean all of this stuff up. That I used, the various tools I used was, of course, a spare makeup brush that, was supplied by the wife. Then I also used a cry cut like needle or weeding tool here. That's what this is with the fine point pen or fine point needle on there. Then I also use the 1.5 millimeter hex driver along with a microfiber cloth. And I also used a spray solution. This one was simple green, but I just kind of put it on there like so, and I kind of got it like that. And then this is what I use to wipe things down. Don't even know what you call this, but they're like foam tips on the end of them. And I get a bunch of them when doing vinyl wrapping, and I have to use Primer 94 sometimes, but I use this as well. So not that many tools when it comes to cleaning. And then as far as pulling the my bearing puller, that was these calipers, just squeeze them and tilt to get up under there. And then this is I got this from Super G, some oil for the bearings. I don't think it's anything special, honestly. I just like the really fine point tube that you can squeeze out of. So those were the tools I used pretty much. I do have the whole setup now. It looks really good. So with that being said, I hope you learned something. I hope this was enjoyable. Please let me know in the comments how you like this video. This has been me pretty much revamping, refreshing the rear end on my GRK4. Keep God first. I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.